Hello, boys and girls. So I just restarted the stream because I was doing some testing and the testing went okay. Meaning that you should have in the bottom left new kind of widget which is telling us who's chatting on the two platforms, so on Twitch and on YouTube, because we are streaming at the same time on the two platforms, which is great. So in theory, whatever you type is going there. And the other good thing is that if you are subscribing or donating or doing anything else, in theory, there should be a pop-up on the top right similar to this one. I will make one just as an example. You see? Yeah, similar to what the other streamers are doing. I didn't have this in the past. Now I set it up. Seems to work okay. So we only have these two widgets. So we have one at the top right with the subscriptions and donations and everything else, and we have one with the chat on the bottom left. Now, well, first of all, Merry Christmas to everyone. I think that most of the world, most of Europe for sure. I mean, all Europe for sure, and US, and say half of the world. Let's say, I don't know how to call it, is on Christmas. Asia is not. All the, good part of Africa is not, but Middle East is not. Like they don't have Christmas. depending on the religion, whatever. But all of them have the end of year, so maybe if some of you is from those countries, anyway, I can wish you a good end of year and happy New Year. So what I need to do is to explain you a bit of what I did. Actually, I was in the mountains and I was enjoying my time in the mountains, which was nice. And but I brought my PC as well there, which is nice as well. So I had the chance to do some work for plane shift when I was not going around and doing other stuff. But I had some time to. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted because I'm trying at the same time to advertise on all the social channels that we are live. So I did some work. Actually, I made some good progress. So I fixed some of the spells. I changed how the spell works, at least on the client side, and I can show you a bit of that. Pretty soon. Let me just advertise. So I'm advertising in the Unreal Engine streaming category, which is always good. Advertising in our internal Discord channel. By the way, if you are not connected to our Discord, please do, because we are sometimes, posting news or telling what we are doing. So I think it would be good if you can connect to our Discord. And then I'm posting also on Facebook and on Twitter, right? Is what I'm doing now. Okay, Twitter is done. And Facebook is nearly done as well. What did you do at Christmas? I guess you stayed with your parents, or did you went somewhere? What did you do? Let me go here on plane shift and post. And you post. Okay, I'm done. I posted them all. Daily stream 162 means that we did more than it's about 3 hours per stream. So is nearly 500 hours or so of streaming, where I'm trying to explain you what I'm doing. I'm trying to get help from you, trying to improve the game. Another thing I need to do is to change the title of the stream on Twitch, because at the moment it says something stupid like testing. It is the last thing I will do, and then we start, okay? Yes, it's saying testing, and it's not a good idea. Okay, I did it. I did it! Okay, let me get back to our screen. I see a lot of people are here. Hello, 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 hello. Thanks for joining. I think I want to do a donation just to see if the donation thing works. No? Okay. I think I'm ready. I always have a ton of stuff on my desktop, so I'm always a bit, careful of what I'm sharing with you, but it's okay. We are friends anyway, so if I share something that is not supposed to share, will be okay. Okay, so what I did, I worked on spells, and I took back this this PNG, this mission that we had, which was the mission on spell casting that we completed a long time ago, and I can show you. Where did I put that? Under PS. Let me just check if it's the latest one, but it should be. It should be mission cast spell in combat. Yes, I think that both of them, they should be the same as this one. Yes, they are identical. Okay, good. So this one, which is recovered because my PC went down when I moved it. There is a bit of lag in the video from YouTube. Because one of the differences is that I switched to Streamlabs. Yeah. I switched to Streamlabs, and I don't know if this is making any difference or not, but before I was using the standard OBS, and now I'm using actually Restream says that everything is okay. Resolution 30 fps, 1080p, bitrate 2 megabyte and 5, keyframe 2. I don't know, looks like it's fine, but you know, you never know. Let's give it few minutes and see if it stabilizes. I mean, my internet should be fine. Tell me if you have the same issue in a few minutes. We will see. Can you see the chat on the bottom left? Is it readable or not? I think it's readable. I mean, in 1080, it's definitely readable. In the other one is not. Did I enable my voice, by the way? I hope so. I did. Okay. So you could hear me. Fine. So, what if I go on this? It's still saying that the stream is starting. Do you see my screen or no? Yeah, you should see my screen, right? This is interesting. Ah, yes, it's here now. It took a bit. I don't know what happened, but it took a bit before showing up properly. So maybe it was really buffering. It's like, can you click on live at the bottom? At the bottom there should be a kind of a live thing, so you are or just refresh the page, so you ensure that you are seeing the latest. Yeah, but I see a big delay, bro. A big delay. Wow. Huge delay. Wow, that is a huge delay. Anyway, who cares? I mean, I don't know if I can fix it. I don't know if there is a setting somewhere that says how much is the delay. If there is too much delay, I can maybe. Let me see if there is. I'm searching where is the delay, stream delay, duration in seconds. It's disabled. No, it's disabled, so it should be real time. I mean, in theory it's real time, but in practice it seems to be super delayed. So let me see if it's the same on Twitch. I want to see if on Twitch and on YouTube we are exactly at the same point or not. No, on Twitch we are at the right place. YouTube we are exactly at the same point or not. No, on Twitch we are at the right. Yeah, on Twitch we are exactly at the right time. On YouTube we are like 10 minutes before. 5, keyframe 2. I don't know, looks like it's fine, but you know, never know. Yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, I would just go. I would just continue. So this is what I did. I did this picture was looking at was looking different some time ago. It was it was very different. So it was here in this part, mainly in this part in the middle. It was not showing, let's say, was not really scheduling a timer, setting them all to spell casting and such. So what I did, I ensured that when we start to cast, there are basically two events. The first event is that there is initial validation on the fact if the player can actually cast the spell. So, for example, it's not frozen. It doesn't have, say, the stamina depleted and things like that. Yeah, I think you should look it on Twitch, but. So the so now basically what we are doing, we are scheduling a timer after we cast the spell, and we start the spellcasting animation, and the spellcasting animation is played for the right amount of time, and after that is completed, I can show you in the game. We can spawn a certain number of effects connected to the casting, and we can also spawn a visual effect, obviously, on the victim. Okay, so when we hit, or when our spell hit the target. So what we can have. I think there is a problem on YouTube streaming for some reason. I think that the YouTube channel is not keeping the pace, yeah, Twitch is working okay. I don't know why the YouTube channel is not working as expected. Anyway, so I can show you what I did. So if we go in blueprints and we go in PS character, takes a bit to open up, but yeah, I think on Twitch, maybe if you watch on Twitch would be a bit better now. The YouTube one is it's kind of slow. So this means that on Twitch you also get the right messages in time. Yeah. Okay, anyway, I don't know. I don't want to stop the stream again. So originally we had this server receiving a switch mode. So when the player was like spell casting, it was receiving this mode, and was in combat, it was in peace, etc. But at the moment, actually, we don't do this anymore. So as you can see, it is now managed in receive starting cast message, which is a specific message sent by the server to our client to start casting. So when this one is received, which is actually somewhere down here, is receive start casting message. Let me just search it because I don't remember exactly what it is. It's probably in player controller, by the way. No, it's here. Okay. So when this happens, we have well, first of all, we go from server to client, and then in the client we just print the fact that we started casting. Then we play the animation, and then we attach the particle in casting effect. So this part here is the one that I changed, but also this one above I changed quite a bit. So we can attach particle effects to the hands of the caster and to the ground where the caster is located. And the first thing that we do, we check the spells data row, which actually is a data DT spell, which is this one, which is just a list of all the spells that we have available. And for each one, I can configure all these parameters. Okay, and in particular, I configure the I think I did defensive wind, and I did summon missile. These are the two that summon missile is the one I was testing the most. Okay, and basically for each one you can have a number of property. The first one is what happens to the hands of the caster when the spell is getting casted. So when he's like waving his hands and 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 casting the spell. So, and actually at the moment you can associate a particle effect, right? And I associated this Lang's fire, which I think is just the stupid thingy, but I just did it, as a temporary particle, but just to show something on the player. Then at the same time, you also have a cast ground class, and this one is this kind of effect, right? Which is an effect that it shows that is casting. And then you can associate a projectile, and you can associate what happens to the victim, right? If something is happening when the victim is hit. So in theory, all of this should happen. And then you can also play a sound, which I think at this moment is not yet used, but you can have a casting sound and a hit sound, right? So when you're casting, what is the sound? I don't know. It could be a moaning or something. I mean, the guy humming something, and then a sound when you actually hit. Okay, so these are all the parameters. Now we can change them. At the moment, I think they are enough. In the game, that is already kind of working. In fact, if I connect to the game, I mean, some of that is working, not all of it. So I was like in the middle of it. Then I have to move back here today. But I think we have some of it working okay. And so I think we can double check it. Assuming that it's loading up, but it should. I just restarted my PC, so it may be some caching going on, so it will not be immediate. I have quite some stuff open. Time it out. We'll try again. Yeah, so on Twitch is like real time. On YouTube is so much delay. I mean, it's like 5-10 minutes. I don't know. It's so much. I'm sorry for the people on YouTube. I will check what is going on. It seems to be real time before, but maybe the fact that I stopped the stream and I immediately restarted it, I think it confused the YouTube a bit. It was probably not expecting, what is going on with my connection? Did the server start? No, the server crashed. It seems so. Or it didn't start at all. Okay, let me see. Do we have two editors running? Yeah, we had two editors running. Seems that the server is crashing. We should check why. Okay. It's pretty simple because MySQL is not up. Yeah, I see some of you migrated to the Twitch side of things. Yeah, there is quite delay. I can tell you how much. I mean, I can display the clock. So now it's 5:22. Whenever I will see this picture in my right screen, which is the YouTube one, we will see how much delay there is, or when you will see it. You will tell me what is the real time. Okay, now the SQL, MySQL is up. By the way, Gion, I tried to contact you on Discord, but it seems that you didn't answer. I wanted to ask you something, but it looks like you're always offline in Discord. I wrote you something on the 23rd of December, and I tried to connect to you, but if you can, I don't know if you're using Discord so too much. Seems not, because you're mostly offline. But if you go to friends, there should be a friend request coming from me. And you will see we have the plane shift server in common. Okay, so now the server is up. Let me try to log in now. Hello, Soup. Welcome. Okay, wow, the noise volume is so high. So if I go here, let me just make it full screen, maybe it's better for everyone. If I go here now and I target this NPC, right, and I cast my summon missile, few things will happen. First of all, you will see my character starting casting. Then in theory he should get on his hands some fire, which is the casting fire effect centered on the socket of the hands. Then you should see exactly the same time also the ground effect, right? And after that sorry, after that you should see in theory a projectile going in, but I think that this part is not working at the moment. Okay, you see, so the first part worked okay. So we saw the animation, we saw the fire effect, and we saw the ground effect. Problem is we didn't actually have the projectile go to the NPC, because I was like in the middle of doing this, so it's still not fully developed, or anyway, it's not fully fixed. Now, Defensive Wind is another spell that I enabled. we should just create, an effect around the caster. So let me see what happens if I do this. So the ground effect is different, the hand effect is not there, and now the target is a bit big, I understand. So it's not exactly the one we want, but just an example. But then I have a spell effect on the caster, right? I have a spell effect on the caster, which is what we want. Now the problem is that it's not centered. It's not centered properly. It is not scaled properly, which is something that we need to fix. Um, Did you see the clock, by the way, on the stream to see how much is delayed? I think I distracted myself, and so I didn't see it. Okay, but anyway, so it is working okay. Now, a few things I want to do. Obviously, I want to change the dead effect to be more realistic, and this is exactly where I was. So, if anyone saw this, the clock, it was 5:22. If anyone saw the 5:22 thingy, let me know. But I think it's like 10 minutes. I think it's a lot. I think it's the time that it took me to restart the stream, So when I restarted the stream, it took like some time, and it fucked up the... What I wanted to do? Yes, I wanted to change. What is this? You can close it. I wanted to change this spell, right? So one thing that I asked to Zwei was to create some basic shapes. Which I will use for spells. And the basic shapes are what you see here in this screenshot. I just try to make some shape, and then to ask to create them in 3D, and Zwei create them in 3D. These are all the different shapes that I wanted to have, and you see them here now. Now that I realize I didn't update my SVN, and it is something I need to do. In particular, I think is under this VFX variety pack. I think we should change the name because it's something that we took from the marketplace. Yeah, exactly. All these are updated. Okay, now so because he changed them to be centered in the main. I want it to be centered in 000 so that I can more easily project the spell on the character. So I had some reasoning on this, and we have few ways to spawn the spell effect, right? Okay, you see here are all our objects. I think that they should be now centered in 000. So let me take this one. Yeah, exactly. Okay, perfect. I don't know if it's too big or too small, but let me see the sphere. Maybe I can use the sphere for defensive wind. Yes, the sphere, it seems to be centered in the middle. I don't know which kind of wireframe we are using, but okay, it's okay. I mean, it's not too crazy. So we can use these shapes, to change the effects. So let me go back and see in our spells what we are using. So we are using for defensive wind. We are using defensive wind hits. Okay, defensive wind hit What is this guy? Defensive wind hit. Okay, it's under spells, Azure, defensive wind. Okay, perfect. This is the guy I want to edit. Now with this guy we have few issues. First, it should not be this shape because it's too big. And so here is where the new meshes are helping us. And by the way, here we are using Cascade, we are not using Niagara, but we are probably going to change it in the future. So I want to change this guy. Let me just check which one is which. Okay, I think this one is the one I want, or this one is the one I want. I think this one is the one I want, right? Let me try to change the mesh, and instead of using this, we will use Spell Sphere. Now the problem may be the scale. I think it's okay. I think I like it already. I think it's fine. I mean, it's not. I mean, we will change it later on, but I think as a temporary thing, I think it's more than good. So I want to remove all the other emitters. In theory, there is an emitter. There are multiple emitters here, which I don't really care about. There is like another emitter here. Let me just see if I spell sphere. Yeah, this will become too much, it will be too heavy, and also the ground floor. So I think I will delete this. I don't know how to delete it. Okay, like this. This one is the one I want to keep. This one is the one I want to delete. So this one I will delete as well. I think I will simplify greatly the effect. Now, in addition, there is some light going on, and there is some dust going on. I just see a problem of center. I don't know why the dust is down there. And this is just a matter of size, or is a matter of? I think it's just a matter of size, because this thing is scaled like crazy. Okay, I think it's just a matter of size. Let me go to mesh. I think there is a scale factor applied. I think it's in initial size, because I already played a bit with these guys. Yeah, it's scaled 5 times. Let me scale it. No, there is a scale distribution. Scale distribution. Now there should be another thing, which is initial size. Initial size. Why I have 2 initial sizes? I don't know. But you see that this one is scaled like 15 times? And I think that is what messing up us up now. Is what is messing us? The problem is, if I do it this way, it's not working well anymore. Why is not working well anymore? I did a 1-1-1. I mean, here is evidently rotating properly on the sphere with 15, 15, but if I shrink it, let me try to go until it's 10, 10, 10. It's kind of okay, even if it seems that the vertical is bigger. So it looks like I have to keep the vertical a bit bigger. I don't know exactly why. I think that the effect is created in a kind of a weird way. let's say 15.5, 1519. So this means I will have to do 1.1, 1 point, well, I will have to do something like 1.2 to keep it in the same kind of range. But when I make it so small, it just flatten out. Why? Okay. It seems that the Z is really affected by this. So now it's more of a sphere. Locked axis. So this way it expands outwards. I see. This is very interesting. But I don't think we care too much at the moment. It's like if it starts a bit small and then it goes out. I don't understand the difference between these two initial sizes. I have one initial size and another initial size. I don't know why I have to. Yeah, I agree. I think so. I think that we have, yeah, that spell effects are very important. I agree. By the way, YouTube gave an error of some kind. Restream channel connection expired. Okay. So I think our YouTube channel is like fucked up. I will have to upload the. Let me see. Yeah, YouTube is still in trouble. YouTube is in trouble. I don't know. The restream is not working for it. It's online now again. I think it goes on and off. I don't know why. Okay. Okay, boys. Maybe it's fixed now. I have no idea. Maybe it fixed itself. Let me see if I refresh. What I'm doing now is to no, it's still displaying something weird. Like if it's not live. Okay, anyway. Yes, I agree. Spell effects are very, very important, and I think that we want to do them right. So we want to be sure that we are doing spell effects the right way. In fact, we need someone to work only on spell effects. But okay, let's leave it like this now. Okay, someone else will take care of it. I mean, I don't want to get too fixated on this. I think it's okay. It seems that there is some life sides by life, so it seems that the effect is kind of increasing sides based on a constant. And if I do this, it completely disappears. Distribution vector constant curve, multiply. There is multiplying all the different. So if I do it without multiply, scale color life, scale color scale over life, alpha scale over life. This should only change the color in theory, while this one should change also the shape. I think it's fine. Let's leave it as it is. Okay. I don't know exactly the difference of ticking this three, but let's leave it as this. So all the rest, which is light, if I add light, I think the only way to test light is if you add some geometry. Exactly. If you add some geometry, you can also see there is a bit of light applied. You see this light applied, but I don't think I want it. I don't think I want specific light applied to the effect. I don't think so. I think I will remove it. Then there is other stuff like this kind of dust which is circling around. You see this one? This one, I don't know exactly. It's not using a mesh. It's just. I think it's fine anyway. I think it's nice. I like the small, particles going up. So I think we can keep them. I just don't know how is choosing the spiral form. I'm not an expert of the particles, so I have no idea. And then there is this one, which are additional particles all around. Maybe this one is a bit too much. I think this one is a bit too much. It's nice, but I think it's a bit too much compared to what we want to have for defensive win. So I will delete this. I will just leave the particles going up. I mean, it would be better if I can make these particles look like the same size, but initial size 400 on the X, 800, 800. What if I reduce this? Become shorter or what? It's not very clear to me what I'm doing. And I think it seems that the life going up, scale color, scale by sides. Scale life by sides. Okay, let's leave it like this. It's okay. I mean, some people with graphical skills will fix it. Okay. Yeah, failed to save because there is our server running. I guess yes. Okay, let's save it like this. Now the point is, we want this thing to be centered on the character, right? And I think if I do it now, this one probably will not be, because this one will just be spawned. Where it will be spawned, that's a good question. This thing will be spawned. How can I remake the thumbnail? No idea. Okay, anyway, maybe we'll reload the next startup of the editor, I guess. I think so. So let's check how this one is getting spawned exactly. So this one is getting spawned inside my PS character BP, inside Magic and Combat, when I'm saying that the effect should happen on the caster. Okay, so there is a specific part of our Magic and Combat, or our Magic play particle effect. Yes, I think it's kind of here. So play particle effect. No, it's not here. Is here. Attach casting particle effect. Okay. So when this happens, there are a few types. Okay, so the two socket, one in the left hand, the other in the right hand, and this is where we attach the emitter, and this is working okay. The one that is going to the ground, which is fine as well. And then how do we do the thingy? No, then it must be a spawn spell projectile. Projectile depends. This thing I don't know. I don't like too much because here when we do this spawn spell projectile, we don't know yet if it's a spell they should go on the enemy, because I think inside is setup, which will have all the logic. Yes. So I think we should rename it to avoid confusions. Yeah, it's called the projectile BP actually, but I think we should rename it somehow, because otherwise we are getting confused. We don't know yet if it would be a projectile or if it would be a static effect, or if it would be a static effect. If we go here inside setup, is doing this check, and the way it does the check is based on, I think, the speed, right? And the fact if it's attached or not. So if the speed is zero, means that is an instant hit on the caster, right? If the speed is one, is an instant on the target. If the speed is anything else, then it's a projectile. I don't really like this thing. I don't know why we have hard-coded this 0-1 thingy. I mean, I really don't understand it. I mean, it was done a long time ago, and we had this idea, but it was a bad idea. I mean, to me, we should know. How do we know if he's targeted on me or if he's targeted on the enemy? Well, that's pretty simple, because the server knows it already. So the server is passing to us the target, right? And if the target is me, because it's a spell that I cast on myself, then the target actor will be myself. So I don't think I need that speed check anymore. I think that speed check is a bit stupid. I don't want that speed check. So I think the setup is fine, but the setup should just say if the target actor is me, then instant hit effect on the cat. And then what is the difference? Why we have to split? Why we have to split caster? Is there a reason why we need to split between myself and an enemy? I think it's exactly the same. Why this code should be different between myself and the enemy? I think it should not. Spawn emitter location. Self get actor location. Self get actor location. He's actually using self get actor location in both cases. But you know what? I don't get this part. I don't know why it was done this way, and I think we should redo it. I don't get why we should have these two different cases. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not getting it. Also, the code seems to be identical, so I don't get Why? So we delete it. I don't know if we will regret it or not, but we just delete it. So we just say instead effect on target, right? So if the target is me or the target is someone else, doesn't make any difference. The target is the target. So we have it. So assuming that this function gets the target properly, we should just check if the target is me, right? So we should have here equals to self, because we are in no wait equal to caster, right? Equal to caster. Okay, so if the target is equal to the caster, means that the spell effect should go directly on him, right? Hello, Wayner. Are you spell and stuff based off the gameplay ability system? What is the gameplay ability system? What do you mean? The gameplay ability system. I don't know what you mean by that. You mean our gameplay, our system, or are you referring to a specific gaming system, or maybe a plugin that is in? Let me just try 1 second to restart this thing. Yeah, I think I have a problem with. Okay. So there is a standard ability system in Unreal. I'm not aware of it, but consider that we have we have a database behind which is keeping all our systems in place. So I don't think it will be easy to adapt to whatever they provided. I don't know if it's a client side only, but we have a database with skills, and these are all our skills, and there are already tables keeping track of the character skills. So each character has specific value for every skills, and then there are progressions and whatever. And so I think we already have a full server side system which is able to manage skills. And but I'm interested into that, so I'm interested to understand what is it. So maybe I will read it up. You called it ability system. Gameplay ability system. I think I will try to read it up and see if we can adapt somehow to this thing. But I think it's pretty good they added it, because I think it could be useful to many people. Yeah, exactly. Because everyone needs these kind of things. Everyone needs like health, strength, attack speed. So all of that is okay. So is a separate plugin. Okay, no, we are not using this, but it's good you brought it up, because it could be interesting for me to understand. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but let's say this part we have it basically done already in the system, so we can already manage our abilities, we can manage our skills, the progression of the skills, the experience you get, and all of that, the practice points, and I mean all of that is already, managed. Is already fully managed. Okay, so I'm sorry that the YouTube stream is so much delayed. I don't know how much, but it's like crazy delayed. Well, the thing I could do very simply. If I move the chat on the other side, we will see it immediately because I can see if I move the chat here on the right, we will see the time at the bottom left, right? And from the time we figure out how much the YouTube is delayed, but it's delayed like crazy, I tell you. It's like 10 minutes behind or so, 15 minutes behind. I don't know why. Don't know why it's so, but even more, maybe even 20. I don't know. We will see it, but it's a lot. It's so much. I don't know what happened. Okay, so 8-minute delayed. Okay. So here what we do, we just compare with we just check if the caster is the same as the target. If it's the same, then we have an instant hit on the target. So which means that we have to create a spell effect on the target. Okay, and so here what we do, we get self. In this case is okay. I don't like self here. Why self? Self is the projectile. I think we should do caster get actor location or target actor get actor location. No, why self? Why self here? I mean, the projectile was probably created on top of what was created on his right hand. Yeah, it was already created there. Yeah, it was created at the socket of the right hand. But it is the thing that is not working. So if he's if he's a projectile, I'm fine to create it this way. But if it's not a projectile, I think it should be created. So I think we have to change this logic as well. So the setup, I don't really, I think I should already spawn based on, if the target is, this is what I should do. This is what I should do. By the way, spell projectile BP is just an actor which is empty. So it doesn't have anything. You see the viewport? It doesn't have absolutely anything here. So, so we just attach a visual effect to it when ready. So in my point of view, because what do we do here? We just do this. So, I think we should simplify it so much. We should simplify it. I think this thing was made a long time ago, and it was made not in the best way. Was made not in the best way. I think so. So, oh, by the way, YouTube reconnected now for some reason. I don't know if it will skip or what, but the YouTube chat reconnected to my application. So, spawn spell projectile. I would like to change this. I would like to change it to play particle effect. I would like to change it to spawn spell actor. Spell. Because projectile is so weird. I mean, it's not a projectile yet. It will become a projectile later. If we need to move it from one character to the other. If we need to move it. So this is not spawn spell projectile. There is spawn spell effect. There is spawn spell effect. Can I change it? Spawn spell effect. Right? It is what it is. Now, based on the check that we were doing here, so if the target equals the caster, then we may decide to spawn it in a specific point. So yeah, I think I want to move, I want to move all of this. So if the caster equals equal to the target, then this is the first check I want to do. I want to do this first before everything else, and then okay, I may still use this thingy. Then I want to so if he's false means that he is a projectile. Okay, well, actually it's not that true. It may be centered directly on the target. Yeah. So it may travel or not travel. So that's why we have this spell speed, and now I understand why this guy did it the way he did it. Because we need to decide. Okay, that's fine. So we need anyway the spell speed and see if the speed is we can say if the spell if the speed is 0, will automatically go. If the speed is anything else above 0, it will have to travel. Okay, which I think is okay. Let me just see what this guy was doing, because yeah, another guy did it. This is the projectile particle, and this is the heat particle. So okay, that's fine. We are splitting them. Okay, that's kind of okay. We will keep it consistent in the data file. Okay, which is in this file. If we keep it consistent here, I think everything will be good. We will not make a mess. So the first thing we do, we check if he has to be target on ourselves. Okay, if he's false, then all of this will have to happen, right? So he will have to travel, and this means that he will start from my right hand. Okay. My idea was to start it from the right hand because I don't know, it makes more sense. But you could also start from my from the center of the character. Will be the same. This was just to test the fact that we are going to spawn it from the hand. Okay, so this is basically taking the location of the right hand socket and it's getting this position and it's creating a transform based on that with a relative location based on the actor location, the caster location, and his hand. So that is what it's gonna do. Now this means that we need, so the setup we need anyway, but we will have multiple spawn, right? I think we will have 3 actually. We will have 3 because it will be 1 if he's on me, 1 if he's on the target, and 1 if he has to travel, right? Yeah, I think we will have 3 of these things. Now we could put all of this in the setup, or we can leave it here. I think we can also leave it here. It's okay. So we said if he's the caster, then I go here. If he's the caster, then I go here. Then in this case it's pretty simple. The transform should be my location. So should be the get actor location. Should be this one of the caster, right? Should be the caster target location. The rotation, we don't care. The rotation we care or we don't care. The rotation should be the same rotation of the caster, and the scale should be the scale of the caster. Yeah, everything should be. Can I get the transform of this guy instead of getting? Can I get a transform directly? Yeah. So this will give me location, scale, and rotation, right? So I can directly put it here. And this means that this effect will be centered on me. Now, we want to do something different, which is to center it on a socket. Because otherwise the scale will be wrong, you know. The scale will be wrong. The scale will be wrong. Yeah, the scale will be 100% wrong. The scale will be 100% wrong. Yeah, so this is what I was discussing the other day. The point is the following. I will explain you, so we decide together what to do, but I think I already have it in my mind. So if we have a big character and a small character, if we have a big character and we have a small character, right? And both of them are casting a spell, and the spell is the one that you have seen here in the preview. This one, this floating sphere. You know, I have to decide the shape, the size of the sphere. See you, man. Bye bye. Hello, Shakima. Shakima. Shaki. I mean, it's not 8 minutes; it's like 20 minutes. Look, on YouTube, is still the stream is still on the left. Did it change or not? I changed it or I didn't change it? I changed the chat to be on the right side, right? But like 1 hour ago. I don't know. I'm so confused. The chat should be on the right side, not on the left side. I'm so confused. Why? Yes, on Twitch is on the right, in fact. Exactly. On Steam, on YouTube, is still on the left. Is still on the left. And is lagging like crazy. Or are you referring to specific game system, or maybe a plug? No, on YouTube is completely fucked up. I mean, I'm just trying to. I don't know if someone is listening on YouTube, but don't do it. Is like lagging like crazy. Yeah, the clock time. Yeah, I moved it, but on YouTube is still. It's completely fucked up on YouTube. I don't know what happened. just trying to understand what is going on. One second, I'm just checking. I will stop it and restart it maybe. I will stop like the YouTube one. I mean, it will break the stream in two, but I mean, as it is now, it's really, really stupid. Of the character skills, so each character has specific value for every skills, and then there are progressions and whatever. I'm listening to the stream on YouTube and already have a full, server-side system which is able to manage seeing what it does. But now it seems to go okay, but it's still playing what I was discussing like half an hour ago. I don't know really what the hell. But like half an hour, boys. It's not like. I don't know. Okay, let's continue. What I was saying is that if I have a big character and a small character, I think I will take the Twitch stream and I will just download and upload it on YouTube because this is not working. And I have this ball effect, that you just saw, right? And the ball effect should stay around the character. How do I scale? How do I scale this ball effect based on the size of the character, right? So there is something that I have the same issue, for example, with weapons. So if you have a weapon and this weapon is one size, you have to scale it for a bigger character or a smaller character. Right? So here the ball should not be like this. Even if it's the same size of this one, if you put it on this character, it will look stupid. So it will have to be as big as this. So to solve this problem, also for the weapons, the only thing that we do, the thing that we do usually is to put a socket in a specific place, like the right hand, left hand, and then to scale it based on the size that you want, for example, for the weapons. And we could do the same for the spells, and because this could also be the same effect when you are targeting a small creature. So let's imagine that you are casting I don't know, it depends if it's a fireball. You will like the fireball to stay the sides, that you cast it. I don't know. Like, if it's a protection spell and is on a small creature, I think it makes no sense that you have a spell that is as big as this on a small creature. So in that case, I think it makes sense that you scale it based on the spell socket, right? But if you are launching a fireball effect, which is hitting the ground, right? Well, if it's hitting the ground, it's fine because we don't consider this creature, we consider the ground, and so they will not be scaled. Yeah, I think in general it should be scaled. And if it's ground, if it's like a fireball, it will not be. It will be targeted to a ground and not to a creature, and so it will not scale. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Okay, finally, the Twitch thingy, the YouTube channel moved to the right, the chat, so we can see. I think we can see the clock, but I cannot see it because the quality is too low. me go to 1080. So he's doing 5:58, so he's actually 20 minutes behind. Oh my god. He's 20 minutes behind. YouTube is 20 minutes behind. I don't get why. "20 minutes, boys, 20 minutes." And he's buffering continuously. I'm trying to ask these guys if they can help me. I don't know. I don't even know why they help me, considering it's a free service, but they are very nice. They help people. Okay, so I think we have to scale, So the point is that we have to scale. So to scale, the only way is to put a socket. So we need to change, because here, if I do get transform, it will not work. I will get the transform of the character. What I want to do, I want to get the exactly this thing. At least the scale. I mean, the position is fine, but the scale, I need to get it from the socket. I think so. Otherwise, it will not work. So I need to create a new socket on all my characters. There is no way. There is no way, boys. We need to do this. You can look at the clock. You can look at the clock on the bottom left. If you are listening, you can look at the clock at the bottom left. On Twitch is 6:20. On YouTube is like 5 something, 5:59 or 6 now. But it's like 20 minutes. I don't know why. So we have to take the, what I was saying, we have to take this, and this socket will be called spell spawn, right? Which is exactly the same name that the guy that did it before me used. So I think we should use that. Should be on the, not on the caster, but should be on the target actor, right? Assuming that the target actor is a character. Custom delays for stream. It may be that you activated delay in the stream settings. YouTube allows the custom delay. The only thing I did is that I streamed for about 1 hour, then I stopped the stream and started a new one. It took me about one. I'm not sure if in the meantime YouTube got confused by that, but I didn't enable any specific delays, at least to my knowledge. Okay, I don't know. I don't know really. So we need to do this. So we need to. Sorry, I'm chatting with this guy in the meantime, trying to fix the YouTube channel. But It's okay. By the way, I'm very grateful to Restream for providing support. So, what do? We go in our clan character. I think we have to do it character by character, right? Yeah, there is no other way. So we have to do it character by character. So we need to, in this character, yes, but not in this character. In this character, in the skeleton of this character, exactly. In the skeleton of this character, we need to add. You see the sockets of this one. There's a left-hand socket, a right-hand socket, a helm socket, and that's it for now. But we'll have many more. I would like to add a spell spawn socket, exactly the way I called it here, spell spawn. And then we will have to remember to do it for all the characters, though, huh? Because otherwise it would be we will be in trouble. I think I can attach it to the pelvis or to the root. The root is to the ground. The pelvis is usually in the middle. Now the problem is. Will it always be in the middle for all the characters? That's a good question. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this guy is saying that things should be fine. About okay, this guy is suggesting to switch from YouTube events to YouTube now, and I will do it. Okay, just to improve the quality of the stream. I will do another test after dinner and to see if everything is in sync. Okay, so the point is, where should we put this spell spawn? Should be, because to me it should be exactly in the middle of the character, right? Because the concept of pelvis, it may happen to this guy, but it may not be applicable to a monster that has no legs or that has 100 legs. Or we do the root and then we move it up by the capsule divided by 2. Or we just put it on the root and then I move it manually up. I think it can be character by character anyway. I think it can be character because the root, I think I will attach it to the root. I think it looks like it's the most reasonable place to attach it. So is the fundamental place where, okay, so let's attach it here. So we add a new socket. Unfortunately, it goes to the bottom. Okay, so we'll never see it again. Okay, anyway. And this one we will call it spell spawn, right? Now, this one I will. I think I can already attach maybe a particle effect. I don't know if I can attach a particle effect, but it would be nice. This one I will move it up to where I think is the center of the character, right? Which I think is kind of here. Let me see if I can attach just as a preview. Preview asset. Can I attach a particle? Like what is called? It's called defensive wind. Wow, I can. Oh my god, so nice. Okay, this thing is huge. Why so huge? Hmm. Why so huge? Considering the sphere should be 2 meters, right? So defensive wind is this one. And defensive wind is using... If I remove override material, I should see the sphere. Holy moly. What the hell? Okay. Do you see what I see? I mean, it's... Okay. So, this sphere is increasing in size, but I think it's okay. I mean, I think it's designed this way. Again, I'm not an expert of... Okay. Okay, so no, because I wanted to compare the sides, but if you don't have a reference sides, would be very hard. Because actually, can I disable this for a second and see if I put everything to 1 and then I don't save anything? Because this effect we like as it is, right? I mean, apart from the fact that now I remove the material override, but we like this effect as it is, so I can save it. And then we can try to mess up with it, and then I can avoid saving. I mean, the point is, I agree that it should grow a bit, but here it's really growing too much. I mean, it's becoming like 10 times larger. Does it shows the same here as well? Yes. It's really weird. It's really, 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 really weird. By the way, it's real time. If I do material override here, it immediately appears here as well. Wow, it's so nice. How can I keep it as big as the original? Because the original sphere is this one. And the idea was that this sphere was exactly 2 meters, right? Now, I don't know if it's really 2 meters. How can I know? Is there a way for me to take a measurement here? Or to put a reference item next to it? Screen size 1. How do I know? Well, I could move it. Can I move it? Because at the moment it's super big anyway. At the moment it's super big, so it shows... I mean, the initial one seems to be kind of okay, but the final one is like super huge. So it continues to grow. Let me see if I find the sides by life, okay? So the sides by life is a distribution across a curve, okay? And this curve is made of these 1 million points. I don't know why, but it is the way it is. So in value 0, in value 1, and then he has all these values: tangent 111, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, interpolation linear 1, outval 1.3, 1.3. So in theory, the maximum number I see here is 1.3. So it's like If I put this to 1, will it stop growing? It seems to grow exactly the same, bro. Doesn't care at all. I still don't understand why I have 2 initial sizes. Like there are 2 meshes, like there are 2 balls. No, there's 1 ball. Can I delete this one? I deleted it. It became very weird. It looks like okay, that was not a good idea. I did a Control Z. Okay, it worked. So I think it's like interpolating between these two, you know. If I delete the first one, what happens? It's like a very flat sphere, which for us can be okay anyway. It's just that it's so big. I mean, it's moving so much. It's scaling, you know. It's scaling so much. And for multi-stream, sorry, I was not looking at the chat. For multi-stream, I'm using Restream. Restream.io, which was working okay until the last stream I did, which was with OBS. Now I switched to Streamlabs just to have the chat on screen and to have the alerts and this kind of things. But it seems that it's not working well. So I think I will go back to OBS. I don't know, and see if it does it as well in OBS. But it seems that at the moment the YouTube connection is pretty bad. Or maybe a plug. No, on YouTube is. Sorry, it was my voice. Okay. So, what were we doing? Yeah, if I can bring this to a reasonable fixed size, I think would be nice. At the moment, that I think the effect is made by purpose, so that he like. But I can also shut down this one by one. So it seems that. Holy moly. What is going on? It's becoming an alien. So I think the original sphere is the one that we see at the beginning, which is pretty small and is just at the border and then at the center, and then somehow it becomes bigger and bigger. Distribution float constant 1.5. If I do 1, doesn't make any difference. What is making this thing change so much? Probably is this one. Initial size minimum 1.5, maximum 5. Okay, maybe it's this one. Huh? So if I do minimum 1.5, maximum 1.5. Okay. Probably is this parameter, Okay, I think now is a fixed ball. Okay, it was there. It was in that thingy. So yeah. Okay, so like this, I think is already nice. I don't want something too complex. I think I will save it. So let me just see if I go to the cran guy. Yeah, now we have these particles we have to fix, but I think it's not too bad. Unfortunately, there is a kind of a If you see, I don't know if you see it, but there is a kind of a line, which is where the hemisphere is getting messed up. I don't know why it's like that, but who cares? At the moment, again, someone else will build these effects, okay? So I don't want to debug it too much now. But at least we have a constant size now, which is 1. So, which is exactly 2 meters, which is exactly what we wanted as a reference. Now, these particle effects are really a bit stupid. Also, for some reason, you see that these particle effects here are going horizontally, while here it looks like they are going vertically, right? Yes, exactly. So why? Because I understand. Because my socket is oriented, has the wrong orientation. My socket has an horizontal orientation for some reason. So I need to rotate this guy. 90 degrees up, right? So if I do 90 degrees like this, yes, now the particle will be okay. Now the particle is very big, so what we can do, we can edit this one. So initial mesh rotation. Let me see if I add the other thing is. Yes, I think it's fine. Let me see if it looks better. Yeah, it looks much better. Okay, so we can re-enable all the other stuff. We just have to change this dust. I think also this dust has an initial size which is too much. So yeah, it's going 8x. I don't know why it's going 8 times, 4 times. I mean, I'm okay between 1 and 1.5, but for sure not. What happened? No, it was not the right parameter. I think this one reduced the size of the particle itself, but not the... Let me try to be a bit extreme and see what happens. Yeah, I understand. So it's not the size of the movement, it's the size of the particle. It's the size of the particle. So it's not the size, I think it's more of the scale. I'm trying to understand. Orbit, offset. I think it could be this one. I'm starting to understand how this thing works. So I'm getting better and better as we speak. So let me increase the initial size just so it is very, very evident. Okay, so that the spell effect is very, very evident. And now what I want to do, looks a bit like a Christmas tree, I don't know. Now what I want to do, I want to ensure that the orbit is much, much smaller than this. So is in meters. I think it's in meters, no? Yeah, exactly. Can I remove the terrain for a second because it's just messing up? Okay. Yeah. So this way is much more related to the right sides. Okay, now we can go back to, I think now it's going up a lot. It's going up really a lot. If I remove all this stuff, it starts to be better. What is the initial size? 80? No. Initial size 80. Let me do 10 now. I think it'll be okay. So it's an additional sparkling around the thing. I don't know if it's really required, but we can leave it. I think if we can remove it, is pretty much the same. If I remove this one, it's pretty much the same. But let's keep it just for fun. But if I change this and I put it back, it starts to warp up a lot. Wow. Size by speed is like this constant acceleration, which is making it Z600. Okay, I see why. So let's make a Z like 30 or so. Yeah, or 100 maximum. Yeah, it goes up a bit. You see now it goes up a bit, but it doesn't go as much as it was going before. So I think we can keep like 200 or so. Now, initial location. This one really we don't want because this one is moved up a lot. It's moving up. Yeah, it's the Z. It's always affecting the Z a lot. So it's like, which is nice because it's making a bit of variation, but it's really too much. Yeah, exactly. We can do something like that. Something like that I think is fine. By the way, to me, YouTube is still buffering. Okay, so I think this one is cool. I like it. So let's keep it like this. Now this initial velocity, what is doing? It's moving it up so much. No, I don't want this one. I don't want this one. This one I will delete. Okay, let's save it like this, which I think is very nice. So we have a reference sphere, which is good enough. I mean, it's not the best effect in the world, but anyways, a reference sphere of about 2 meters, so which goes all around our character, and is centered in our spell spawn, and is also oriented the right way. So it's oriented looking up, right? So I think that is now this is good. So assuming that this is good, so we have our spell spawn properly done. I can save this one. I can go back here, and now to attach my effect, I will actually search that socket, right? So what is the point? What is the point? That if I do it in a much smaller character, right? Let's try to do it in a much smaller character. So we prove the point, you know, because this is what we want to understand. You know, we want to understand if. Definitely on YouTube we have the delay. Definitely. Definitely we have the delay on YouTube. So if we take a smaller character, for example, the dwarf, right? Let's take the dwarf. I think the dwarf is the smallest we have, right? So I don't know what it looks like. Is it floating a bit? Is it floating? I think it's in a weird position. This guy it seems that he's centered in the middle. I don't think our characters are centered that way usually. No, I don't remember. Yes, they are. Okay, they are. These guys well. These guys well. Okay, they're all the same. Good. Okay, my bad. So let's take this lady. This lady is much smaller than the grand guy. And so if we take the skeletal mesh and the skeleton, and we try to apply the same spell spawn socket on the root. So what I do add socket, and I call it exactly the same way. Let me copy paste it because I don't want to do a mistake in spelling it. So I spell spawn, okay, which is at his feet, and in the same way I take this and I move it up to the middle of the character, exactly the same way we did with the other guy. Okay? And I think the middle is about here, maybe a bit higher because she's short. She has a different proportion between the upper part of the body and the lower part of the body. So it's something like that. Yes, it's something like that. And if I apply the same thing, I can change. Wait a second. This guy is helping me, and he's saying that I can change the platform setting while you stream. You can switch to YouTube stream now without stopping your other stream. How do I change to use YouTube now? Okay. I think it's this. I think it's the Streamlabs which is doing some mess because it's not. It was working okay with OBS. I think I will go back to OBS actually. Stream now. I don't know how to change the stream now. I don't want to do it now. I will test it later. I think I will stay with the delay for now, and then I will test it offline. I will create a stream just to test. Okay, so we don't interrupt the work here. Otherwise, we'll never finish. Okay, so I set this. So if I now attach to this socket add preview asset, and if I say defensive, and I say defensive, wow. Okay. I was expecting it to be way bigger, no? Why is not? I'm confused now. Why is not? Why is not way bigger? Maybe it is, but we are not feeling it because it's not a lot of difference between her and him, but it should be. I mean, it's impossible that the effect scales automatically. Let me try to center this guy. So this effect is taking. If I could look from the top, will be much easier. Can I just look down like this? So apart from the white particles, which are a bit annoying, but this effect, the sphere, can I disable 1 second the particles because it's very hard to look otherwise. If I do this, does it change? Wow, the effect is changing on real time is insane. So there is actually 2 grids and then half and half. So 3 grids by 3 grids. Okay, so this is what it is. If I go on her and I go also from the top, holy moly. How? You scaled automatically. I mean, I don't understand how we can scale automatically. Based on what? I'm so confused. So, spell spawn, right? This is my socket. Relative location, blah, blah, blah. Relative scale, 111. Okay? If I go on him, spell spawn, and his relative scale 111. Do you mean that our bone scale is different here? Well, actually, our cran skeleton is scaled 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. And our stone bay is scaled 111. Why this one is scaled 1.2? Why we have a skeleton which is scaled up a bit? 1.2 is 20% more, but still 20% more is not making the difference, right? Because here is very evident that is... Yeah, I think it's 20% more. Because here is 2 enough, you know? It's 2 enough. The size of the sphere is 2 enough. While here is 3 basically. So I think it's 20%, yeah. So I think it is because our root bone is scaled 1.25. Why the hell our root bone is scaled 1.25? Because this is going to mess up all my theories, you know. It is going to mess up with all my theories. Well, actually not too much, in the sense that what I can do, I can just watch visually with a reference spell, which can be this one. No, I can just watch with a reference spell and say how big I want the spell to be, and maybe on her I say I want it to touch the head or be close to the head, and this one is too big, and so I'm going again to the socket, and I will scale it down like 0.9, 0.9, 0.9, and it's not enough, so I will do 0.7, 0.7, 0.7, and you see that now the spell is much smaller. So this is what I wanted to, what I wanted to prove, that we could have a scale on the socket which is determining the size of the particle, and this will be proportional to the character. Now the problem is that we have this scaling on this guy, and I don't know, so this means that all the weapons, all the effects will be already scaled 1.2. Okay, but the theory still works, you know. Now we have a problem with this guy somehow, but the theory still works. So, which is what I wanted to say, you know. So I think I can go like 0.8, which will be fine on this character. Yeah, 0.8. So I decided that it is this scale. So it is exactly what I want to do. So I will save it. I will check out. I will save also this one. And so in our blueprint, we take this socket and we take the scale of the socket, which is this one, the relative scale, right? And can I get the transform directly? Oh no, because here I was getting, wait a second. Here I was getting the actor location plus the relative location, right? And I was summing it up to the location to make the transform to put it into the spawn place, yes. So I think I have to do exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. So the relative location here goes here, and this one goes here, and yeah. Okay. So yeah, the graph is not the best. I can improve it a bit. So I think for this part we have it right. So we have our socket, we have the scale, the proper scale that is taken from there, and we have now the point that what I'm thinking is, if the scale is already part of the socket and I attach something to the socket, do I really need to scale it again? I mean, do I really need the scale to pass through? Because actually something happened. What happened, boys? Was Collop subscribed? Oh, it means that my alerts are working. Hey, we were testing the alert today. Thank you for subscribing. It doesn't tell me if you subscribed on YouTube or on Twitch, or if you follow. Can you tell me what did you click? Because it's the first time I use these alerts that we added today. So I don't know if you did it here or there, but anyway, thank you for the subscription anyway. So what I was saying is, anyway, YouTube is continuously buffering for some reason. It's continuously buffering. I don't know why. Anyway, you should watch on Twitch at the moment, because today we have this issue. Okay, so we do this thing on the socket, we make the transform and we spawn our actor. So, and we said that we do this when our character is centered on, when our spell is centered on the caster, right? So we do this, and then I think we can call setup. Now setup will do the same check, which is a bit stupid, but it's okay. It's only a comparison, and it will just go here, and it will just take the capsule, spawn the emitter attached to what? The point is, do I really need to do this, or I can just spawn the effect, without the actual act? Because if the actor is not gonna move, it seems a bit stupid that I'm attaching an actor and then a particle effect to the actor, and then it's not moving. So why I should do this? If I'm sure that the spell effect is not gonna move, which is this case, I think I should just spawn the effect. Yeah, absolutely. So I should just do this. What is this attach point name? Is the socket name? Because at the end I just want to attach a particle to a socket, so I don't want to do anything else. Yeah, it's just giving the socket name. Yeah, I think it's much easier. I think we should do it like this. I think we should do it like this. So boys, I think it would be even simpler than that. So okay. So this is valid for the other case, but for this case, I think it's super simple. Because now that we have the socket in place with the right scale and the right location, I think all of this is not needed. You would say, what the fuck, you just did it. Yeah, I know. I'm learning here together with you. So I think that in this simple case where the projectile doesn't have to travel, we can just say the emitter is our particle, is our heat particle, right? The emitter is our heat particle. The component to attach is actually my, I don't know if it can be the mesh. Yeah, it can be the mesh or the skeletal mesh. No, skeletal mesh, no. It must be the mesh. Okay, fine. So it will be the mesh of the caster. And the attach point name will be the name of my spell spawn, right? Now, location, rotation, and scale, I don't think I need it, because if it's attached here, no? I mean, if it's attaching to a point, I don't think you need this, right? Unless you want to offset compared to the attach point. Now, the location type is keep relative offset, which I think is fine. Auto destroy, which I don't understand exactly what it means. Whether the component will automatically be destroyed when the particle system completes playing, or whenever it can be reactivated. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this particle effect never finishes, right? This particle effect continues forever. So, what does it mean when the particle effects? What does it mean when the particle effects finishes? There's no finish. There's no end. I can keep auto destroy on and see what happens, but I think it will be fine. Um, hmm. Sorry, I was looking at the statistics of the stream, and it basically says that everything is going well, but it's strange again that YouTube is not working. I will do a test later. So let's do this. Let's keep this attached, okay? Then the other thing I was doing, effect on target. Do we have a way to save the fact that this spell effect is on me and then remove it later? I don't think we do at the moment, but we will have to save it because this guy will have to be removed after some time. When the spell ends, it will have to be removed, right? And also we will need to have a kind of an ID. Can we attach multiple effects to the same socket? I hope we can. If we don't, it's an issue. Huh? Can we attach multiple things to the same socket? I hope so. Yeah, I think if I do add preview asset and I attach another one, what is another name? Like this one? Yes, it's not very visible, but both of them are attached. So I will then need to have a reference to one and remove it. Because I can have two spell effects on me. What do you mean this action cannot be undone? I'm just removing. Okay, remove it. Remove selected. This action cannot be undone. Okay, it's not working. Okay, fine. Yeah, so we will have to keep a reference to the one that we added because actually it may be the case that we have two spell effects on us, and one maybe is lasting 5 minutes, the other is lasting 2 minutes, and then we will have to remove the right one. You know, when it expires, and all of that is already managed server side, but we don't have the client side done for that particular part. We don't have it, so I will have to we'll have to do that. So how do we proceed from here? How do we proceed from here? we test this part, okay, and this will be just the emitter. It will be very, very simple compared to the code that was here before. So we just spawn the spell effect on the caster if the speed is 0. Yeah, but even if the speed is 1, is okay. Then there is the other case, which is the complex one. The complex one is if the caster is not, if the target is not the caster, so which means that we have to attach it to another character, and the speed is not 0, meaning that the is a projectile, right? Meaning is a projectile. So I think we need to make this one way bigger. So let me do the two cases though. Let me do the simpler case first, which is basically exactly as the one above. So if it's false, but the spell speed is equals to 0, right? So I'm branching here as well, so I'm going here. So if it's equal to 0 is the other simple case, because it means that I'm spawning on the target, which is not me, but is another character. It's like an NPC or a friend. Maybe I'm casting a healing spell on a friend, and so it doesn't travel. So there is no projectile. So it is the other simple case. If it's true, I go here. The emitter is always the hit particle. I would like to unclutter a bit this thing, but I don't know if I can. If I do this, is a bit better. It's a mess, like. But this will go down here, so I think this will be separate from all this mess. So there will still be the emitter. The difference is that this will be the component to which we attach will be the mesh, but the mesh of the target, right? So this will be get mesh. Why I cannot do get mesh? Get mesh, no? Get mesh, get mesh. Okay, because the target can also be an object. The actor can also be an object. Okay, for now we assume is a character. Okay, otherwise we cannot move on. So we cast this to. I think I can do it. I can do it here. Cast to PS character blueprint. And from the character blueprint we get mesh, right? I hope now I can do it. And the mesh will go here. Yes. So so we assume is the target is an NPC. I mean is a PS character. It's not an NPC. It's a PS character. Okay, we assume that. Assuming that, we check if the speed of the projectile is 0. If it's 0, then it means that we can just spawn. The spell effect in the same location, which is the spell spawn of the skeletal mesh of our target. And all the other parameters will be the same. Now here we will have to store this for later deletion, but now we don't do it yet. Okay, so now we don't care about that. Now there is the third case. The third case is when the speed is not 0. So it means that it is an actual projectile. And it is an actual projectile, so he has to travel between the two characters, the caster and the target. right? So in this case, which is this one, I think I will just call this function, I mean this setup, I don't want to do the spawning here. I think I want to do the spawning all inside the setup. So this function will be renamed, and it will be renamed projectile setup or something like that. Projectile setup in okay, let's say projectile setup. Projectile setup I think is fine. And I think all of this code I would like to move it inside projectile setup. I think it has no meaning to stay here. It's just messing up, you know, just making things look more complex where they are not. So I think I want to take this. I will do a Control X. I will put it inside of this. Now we will have to decide where to put it, right? It will probably be down here, and it will probably be, I think we already have it, by the way, but let's just put it here temporarily and then we will see, okay? Because this part will be simplified a lot. Assuming that the attach works, because I'm not sure yet. We have some compile errors here, by the way. Yes, because I didn't pass anything. Is this guy? Okay. So I think we are pretty much close to test something, So we will see something happening soon. I really want to see if my YouTube then will be recorded or not. Because I think it will be, but being like 20 minutes late, 25 minutes late. So now YouTube is at 6:41, so it's 40 minutes behind. It's 40 minutes behind. No, 35 minutes behind. Okay. So so here, so if the speed is not 0, we go here. So you know what, if you do this, it will be much better to look at. It will be much better to look at or not. Well, so let me see if all the lines are really required. So we have the caster mesh, which we have 1,000,000 times. I don't know why. We have one here. No, this is the target. Okay, so like this line and this line are exactly the same. They come to the same place, so I can just do this and attach it here, right? So at least we remove one line. Then the target, I have no way to remove it. So that target line, unfortunately, needs to go here. And it's one line going there, one line going here, and one line going down there. Yeah, so unfortunately this one we need to keep. These other lines we need to keep. Yeah, all of that we need to keep, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm checking if there is a way to make it a bit more reasonable looking, but I don't think so. I think that's it. I can this mesh, maybe I put it here, this branch. If I want to do this one equals to 0, maybe it makes more sense. that they go together. This cast is annoying, but because it's in between all the lines. I don't know how to improve it more than this. I think it will stay like this. Okay, but basically we have three cases. Okay, so the first case, Eton caster, right? The second case, maybe I can put a small comment. Yeah, maybe I can put a comment here, so I will remember it the next time. Otherwise, so this one is direct hit on caster. Simple as that. This one is direct hit on target. Simple as that. And the last one is, maybe I can put it down here. And the last one is projectile traveling from caster to target. Okay, so these are the three cases for our spell. Okay, I think it's clear enough. And unfortunately, the graph is a bit weird, but I don't think I have a better way. Maybe one way could be to do something like that, just to keep the line straight, but it will mess up anyway above, so I don't know if it's better really. Maybe it's a bit better, and I could align kind of this thing is. Why I'm taking care of the graphical form? I'm taking care of the graphical form because the comprehension of the graph is very important when you come back, like after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and the only way is this. Hello, Abdeen. I'm sorry, but unfortunately the stream is delayed. Like, well, if I say to you, you will hear this like 25 minutes from now. So I'm gonna type it in YouTube. Hi, Abdeen. Unfortunately, the YouTube stream is delayed 30 plus minutes for unknown reasons. You can watch live on Twitch. I'll stay here to catch up. Okay, I just message Abdeen, we joined, but we'll hear my voice in 30 minutes from now. Okay, so we have these three cases. Now I want to test if the first two cases are working, and then we will go with the third one. Okay. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. The setup is actually a function on the projectile blueprint itself, so we assume that we spawned it. We assume that we spawned it. We assume that we spawned it, so we need to bring back this crap. I think so, because we cannot do it. We cannot do it there unless I already spawned the projectile. Do I want to spawn? Yeah, I have to spawn it anyway, so I must spawn it. So I think this thing, unfortunately, will have to go here somehow. Somehow, some way. So, okay, so let's do this. I think I can compress it a bit, and maybe we can use the space that we have here. So what I need to do, I need to get the target actor assuming is BP. Yeah, assuming is a PS character. So I will take this. We'll go through this anyway, right? Yeah, we'll go through this anyway. So this variable will be valid even if I go through this route. So here is just finding the socket. It is the right hand of the. Why I selected the target? Should be the right hand of the caster. Yes. The right hand, so it takes the right hand of the caster, it finds the socket, create the transform, guess the location of the caster again, guess the location of the caster, and is making the transform, which is the starting point of the projectile, right? So this is creating the starting point of the actually I wanted to have this inside a function, but unfortunately it seems that this is not gonna happen. So then we spawn our projectile. So let me move all of this way to the right. I don't know what is this. We will check it later. Probably is a leftover. So we spawn our projectile, which will travel, and then we do the setup. And now this projectile will go here, and now the compilation will succeed. Okay, yes, we have 2 warnings, but it's okay. I know why. Okay. So, do we want to test the first 2 cases? Yes, I think we want to test the first 2 cases. I don't want to. So the spell projectile will be not working, by the way. For now, but it's okay. But we greatly, I mean, if this works, we greatly simplified. Why the torso has been changed? I didn't change anything. I think we greatly simplified the logic of the direct hit, and point traveling. Now, let's have 2 spells. What we need now is 2 spells which are working on me and on the target. Right? So, can I use the same spell? Can I use Defensive Wind with no target and with a target? Well, yes, in theory I should be able to. Who decides that? Actually, who decides that is the server side. But for now, we can cheat the server side and just cast it anyway. Can we? No, I think the server side will stop us because the defensive wind cannot be cast on someone else. I think defensive wind as target type 8, and target type 8 is only self. So we change it here in the database, which we can do. Or yeah, let's change it in the database for now. I don't remember this target type thingy. 1 second. Do we have it here? Do we have the list of targets here somewhere? Type. Where do I find the target type? Target self. Let me see. Target item is 04. Target self is 0.8. Target friend is 0.10. 10 meaning 16, right? Why we don't have any 16 here, just to make me more confused? Crap. But I think it's correct. I think it's 4 because it's on an item. There is no 16 here. But I think any healing will be 16. I think. Any healing will be 16. Let me just check one thing. Spells. I'm checking another screen. Spells, list spells, Crystal Way, Life Infusion, Target Friend or Target Self. Exactly. Target Friend or Target Self. Yeah, 16. Yeah, that is okay. So it's 16. So if we change it to 16, do I have to change it to 16 or do I have to change it to 22? Because if I change it to 16, it will be only the enemy. No, 24. Why 22? 24. So like this one, for example, or this one. Yeah, or Life Infusion, exactly. 24. We change it to 24, okay? So in this case, even if it's not like this in the real game, but I don't care, we apply like this for a second. So defensive wind will be possible to be. It's possible to cast it on ourselves or on a friend. The problem is that if I do 24, it will be a friend. A friend means not a monster. Oh my god. And I only have monsters apart from me. I don't have another guy. Well, I cannot log in with another guy. Okay, I can log in with another guy and see what happens. I don't know how does it consider a friend, but no, it's too complex. Let's do foe. Okay. So foe will be 40. I think no spells works like this, but it would be 40. It will be myself or an enemy. Okay, let's see if it works. So, do we have everything saved? Yes, we have everything saved. So let's see if this works somehow. I don't think so, but let's see. I don't think it works at the first round. Okay, you're loading in. I will check it out. I will save also this one. YouTube is still lagging, by the way. YouTube is still lagging. Like every 2 seconds, it lags 1 second or something like that. I'm very curious to know the recorded version of it, what will be, but okay. So now, there is a guy moving. Where is that guy going? You see him on the background? Oh my god, it's so weird to see stuff moving in the game. Nothing should move in theory. Okay, so maybe it's a specific time of the day where that guy needs to go somewhere. It's pretty weird to see. So, if I do defensive wind without a target, should do it on myself. He's casting, is finishing the cast, and we see the spell on ourselves. Very nice, boys. So this part worked okay. He's already using the socket and he's positioning on the socket. Now, what happens if I move? That's the good point. If I move, this thing is coming with me. It's pretty cool, by the way. I really like it. Very nice. It looks like I have... I feel like Sonic, you know? Okay, nice. So this thing works. Now, the other point is to do it on an enemy. Can we do it on the guy that is moving so we'll bring this ball around? If he moves again? I don't think he will move again, but... So if I click on this guy, now the target is in, and I do again defensive wind, I will cast the spell. And something bad happened, because the spell is never finishing. My server crashed? No. Okay. So what? Something very bad happened. The client didn't crash, but it bailed out. The server didn't crash, which is also pretty amazing. I don't know what happened. Let me see if I can log in again. But anyway, on self it was working okay, huh? You saw it, huh? You can testimony. Seems it's not connecting anymore. Actually, it looks like our server... Yeah, our server, I think it went into a loop or something. But you see that the passing of time was not happening anymore. So it was not... Yeah, he kind of fucked up. I don't know what happened, but he kind of fucked up. He started the spell casting, and then he went like into a loop or something. The only point is that he didn't succeed. He didn't succeed rolling the spell. So the spell, you see, he has a roll of 34 on a chance of success of 52. So actually he failed to cast the spell. I don't know if this ever happened to me. But if that happens, what happens? If that happens, let me see if I can find it. if that happens, no, nothing happens, because in the script of the spell there is no case where you fail. I have no idea what happened. Maybe 30 seconds finished and he wanted to remove the spell from me, the first spell from me, but for sure then the server bailed out. At a certain point he just closed. Okay, let's try to do it again, but without the first part. So I will not cast it on myself. I will cast it directly on the enemy and see what happens. Okay, the server is up. By the way, I'm checking who subscribed before. If it was I think it was a Twitch subscription, because I don't see it in the... Someone followed probably on Twitch. Okay. I will figure that out. Okay, so let's try to cast it. Maybe we can also change NPC. Let's cast it on her. On the cat lady. So if I select her and I do my thing, casting the thingy. No. He just went on top of me. That's not good. Ah, I know why. I know why, because the target now is determined based on vision. Because I changed that the other day. So I have to have her in the middle of the screen to cast on her or on me, so that the target doesn't make any sense anymore. So but why did it crash before? That's weird. I should say somewhere. How do I know the target? How do I know the target? No, there is something not working here. There is something not working. It's always going on me. Why is always going on me? Why is always going on me? I have the receive spell. Casting defensive wave with a chance of success. So can we add the target to this printout so we know if we selected someone or not? Because I'm a bit confused. So spell effect. In theory, we should have a target already when we go to effect, right? Spell effect. I don't remember this sequence. I always forget this sequence, but so he's starting to cast. When he's casting, if the caster is still alive, it's doing the spell effect, but the target is already specified. So in theory, this thing should come from here, which is the preparation of the spell, which is cast spell, exactly. So, and the target is specified here. If no target is given, we go for us. So if there is no target specified, we just default to ourselves, right? Which is okay. But in theory here, we should get the target. We should get a target from where? I think from Spell Manager. Where is Spell Manager? I need Spell Manager. Spell Manager. Spell Manager. Is here or not? It's not here. Spell Manager. Target, right? Target is coming from here. It's coming from cast spell on Spell Manager, which is already specified. So here we are not changing it. Okay. And it is coming from I think, from player controller based. Yes. Request casting spells. Input target. Okay. Okay. So request cast spell. I think the problem here is the targeting. We are not targeting her in any way. Request cast spell is actually coming from the blueprints. By the way, the spell is never going away, but that's another problem we have to solve, but we will solve it later on. Request cast spell should arrive from the blueprint and from the player controller, I think. Please. Yes. Yes. Where the target is specified. And this one is coming from this guy. Yeah, there's a long sequence, boys. This guy is coming from this guy. In two ways. Cast spell and find target on PC. Yes. Exactly. This one should be called also by the UI when I click the cast button. It should show up, please. It should show up here. No? Okay. Yeah, from key binding, okay, but when I click, okay, let's do the other side. Let's go the other way, otherwise it will take me too much. So if I go from the UI, what I did, I clicked on the widget for spellcasting. So is the spellcasting widget? Is the spellcasting widget? Win spells? No. Win spellbook. Okay. I clicked on this button, which is the cast button, and this button is connected to this, and this is connected to cast spell on PC. Okay, so it's not giving any target. That's the problem. Okay. So here we need to decide what to do. It's a very important decision, boys. It's a very important decision because we have two ways to cast spells. We have two ways to cast spells. The first one, so let's say that there is the enemy and there is me. Okay. We have two ways to cast spells. So the first one is in combat mode, and in combat mode we decided that we wanted to have a line of sight to determine the target of anything, being the spell, being an attack, being whatever. Okay, so in combat mode we are fine. The problem is that we also have this stupid window, the spellbook window, which has a cast button we decided to have, which is this guy here, and this one is saying cast. Which is not doing this calculation. Which is not doing this calculation. It's not using the visibility. It's not using the vision. The line of, I mean, it's not using the line of sight. It's just because why is not using the line of sight? It's not using the line of sight because if you have your window open here, you know, how can you use the line of sight? Well, you can use it anyway, by the way. In theory, you could use it anyway. But it means that I need to catch, because the line of sight makes a lot of sense when you are in first person mode, you know. So if I do it again, no, but it's not passing any, exactly, it's not passing any freaking thing. So the way I can do it, I can go in combat mode and then associate to my shortcut bar here. So let's do it. I will change this button. Instead of life infusion, I'm calling it defensive wind, and I'm saying cast defensive wind, right? And it's key bound to number 5, right? It's key bound to number 5. So if I target this girl and I press my number 5, now I should be casting it on her. In fact, you see the red box. The red box is the target. But here is where things get crazy. I think our server, when we are targeting someone else, the server is getting crazy. It's not responding anymore. I cannot move anymore. The game is fucked. So why when I have a different target things are getting, the server is dying? Okay, let's launch the server in debug mode and we will see. Okay, because something is happening. So in theory, the sequence of events should be the same. So cast spell should have a target assigned. This target assigned should go through this. It should see that I have a proper target. Well, we maybe be breakpoint here, you know, and just check if our target is actually pointing to someone. But it should be fine. It should go through this. It should go through this. It should go through this. You should go to cast the spell, and then it should just affect the target. Everything should work perfectly. So I don't know what is going on, but there is definitely some mistakes in the code or some mistakes on the blueprint side. It is making this go into a loop, or it's going to a loop. I don't know. It's doing something weird. Okay, the server is starting. Streaming levels. Server is up. By the way, Gion, are you still there or no? If you are there, Gion, can you send me a message and say hello? Okay, now the server is running in debug mode. So I will do the same. So I will go in combat mode myself. I will target the girl. Okay, which is, I mean, it just can just stay like this. And just press my 5. Well, the 5 I have to check. Why sometimes it's not saving this? This is another thing we have to say. We have to fix. Sometimes it's not saving. There must be some bug somewhere, and sometimes it's not saving the shortcuts. I think it happens. If I move the window, I think it saves it because he has like a layout saving thingy. If not. Okay, anyway, I cast my defensive wind. The target is what? Let me see if visually we got the dot. Yes, we got the dot. So this target, why the target is null? That is a problem. No, this didn't work. No, because if the target is null, then GG, you know. Then I don't know where it breaks, but it breaks somewhere. Well, it gets me as a target, though. No, I don't have a target up, so everything is null, is fucked up. It is where it is where it breaks. I'm sure it is where it breaks. Because the first time he wants to, let me see. Well, I became the target though, so I think it's okay. But anyway, it will never cast on her. Okay, my client timed it out, but the server is running. But the problem is that it didn't pass. It didn't pass the target information. Don't know why. It didn't pass in the target information. Even if we got, why? I think I missed some connections here. There was that place where I have the cast spell from key bindings. Yes, this one. Cast spell and find target on PC. So this is the line trace and it's the red color. So this is the one that we see. So up to here is perfectly fine. Then here we have target connected. Id actor and id actor. Wait a second. Okay, if is I think it's fine. If is invalid, it defaults on me. Okay, it's okay. But in this case, we had her selected. So Caspell on PC then is using this. Is requesting Caspell, which is passing the input target. So and this one is going to PlaneShift controller base, which is here. I think there is just a stupid mistake somewhere. it's going to request cast spell. Request cast spell is here, and cast spell is an input target. Oh my god, I never pass it through. Okay, that's maybe the reason. This may be the reason. I never pass it through, boys. If I never pass it through, it's not working. Okay, fine. We found the problem. Because I did the setup of this thing and then I didn't finish it probably. So, like I had to go to dinner or something and I stopped and I didn't put the parameter there. I also have to close the editor. Okay. By the way, now it's 8 o'clock, so I think I will have to go dinner soon. But I can stay a bit more. I can order some food. Let me see where is YouTube. I really want to see if my YouTube then will be recorded or not. It's me speaking on YouTube and I'm checking. Yes, I think it will be, but it's at 7:20, so it's 40 minutes behind. So now YouTube is at 40 minutes behind. I think it's I don't know. I have the feeling it's a problem of Restream. They say no, but they say no. I checked every single parameter and they said it's fine, but I don't know. The fact it works from, you know, at the moment we have me, we have Restream in the middle where I'm sending the data, and then we have Twitch and YouTube, right? So Twitch is working perfectly. YouTube is not working. So how it can be my fault? You know? So I mean I'm sending data here and the data is then distributed. So but they are saying no. I don't know, I'm confused. I don't believe enough. Okay, so now we recompile. Now the input target is sent through. Still, I don't know why it was failing, right? Because at a certain point, our server was really going crazy. And I don't know why it was going crazy, if it's just a coincidence, or when I was casting like the spell like 2 or 3 times on me, at the third time was like GG, you know? So like, end of the story. Okay, the server is up. We restart the client. The server is in debug mode, so we can see what is happening exactly. Now I don't know if this targeting system is very intuitive or not. I think we need to maybe add a small crosshair in the middle of the screen. I think we discussed it with Sway or with Davide, but we need to think what to do, because I don't think that everyone will understand immediately that you need to like target like this the enemy or whatever you want to cast the thing on to to actually cast it. But anyway, let's see. Is my defensive wind set up? For some reason he lost the key binding. Oh my god, why this thing is not working as expected? I think I clicked on it. I didn't want to click on it. Target is now. Fuck it. Okay, I'm casting it on me. Now I will try to target the lady. Okay, now the lady is targeted. Okay, now we have the target. Okay, good, good. Let it go. I want to see if... No, it didn't work. It didn't work, even if the target was okay. The target was definitely okay. So why? Yeah, the target is Enki character, so it should absolutely. It should absolutely. I mean, I cannot go through the whole thing here because it will take forever. But in theory, why didn't? We need to check. So now the target is okay, but there is still some problem. There is still some problem because it seems that on the client side we are not getting. I can add a small printout and see, because in our client, in theory, I should get the play effect. You start casting defensive wind. I don't have any printouts, but I think we should add it. Receive effect message. You see, that is the effect. Now the question is if now, after we have a target, if we send back the proper target. Do we send back? Because when we cast the spell, what is happening? It's happening that I start the casting animation, and then I create an event which will trigger at the end of the casting animation, which is this one, UPS cast event in game. We should have the target properly set. Now the question is, does this have the proper target? You know, we can try it again, assuming I'm centering on her, but I think yes. And if I do my thing, okay, and I go here, yeah, target. Target is me again here. It is not good. Why target is me? Why target is me here? It's very bad. It's very bad. Should not be. Why target is me? If I got the red dot, I got the red dot. So fuck, did I get the red dot? Yeah, I got the red dot. So input target Enki. Okay, so here is she. Input target is not null. I'm not an NPC. It's not offensive. I go through this thing. If max range less than 0, fuck. The spell has a max range wrong, and so it defaults to me. Okay, so that's okay, because this is fine. It's just because the data of the spell itself is wrong, but because we converted a spell which is not actually meant to be cast on someone else, and so actually he has a max range somewhere. I don't know where, but he has a max range. Range 0, you say? Range 0. So that's our problem. So we do range 50. I think it's in meters, right? Range 50 meters. That's a lot, huh? Okay, fine. We are making this spell super good. Okay. So now we have to restart the server because he has to reload. At the moment we don't have yet reload capabilities, but we had in the previous game and we will add them also in this game. So I'm restarting the server, and now the spell is a ranged spell, and this means I can cast it. I can cast it on her. It's been more painful than I was thinking. This part, huh? It's been a bit more painful, boys. A bit more painful. But we did some good stuff. I think we are progressing well. I'm happy about that. So the client is up already. Yeah, the client is up already. So we can just log in. Server is up. Now the spell has a range. So there should not be any more the confusion, and the code should not mess up anymore. The spell has a range. Okay. Let's do this. So I just check if my defensive wind kept the freaking thingy. Yes, it kept it. I don't know. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I have to debug that code because it's not working. So I go in combat mode. I center on her. My mouse is so freaking sensible. It's like insane. I move it by 1 millimeter. I center on her. I'm trying, and I press 5, and boom! I will let it go and see what happens. This time it worked. The problem is the centering. Because she doesn't have a socket. Yeah, she doesn't have the spell spawn socket, and so it's spawning on her feet. But it's good. 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 It worked. It worked. It worked. So the fact that the sphere is at the feet is because she doesn't have a spell spawn socket. Because we did not add it on that character, which is known. Okay, it's fine. So we can add it, no problem. We can add it to all the characters, and so that's done. When we do it once, we do it forever. So let's add that spell thingy. So now we fixed, and it is working okay, and it's also working when you are moving, so that's very nice. So we simplified the code by much, I think, because before it was generating a new spell projectile in any case, even in the case in which the spell was just a target spell, and it was not a good idea. So I'm very happy about the change. I think it was a very good change. I like it. So what we need to do, yes, we go on the characters, we need to, so let's do it one by one anyway. So let's start from the first one, the Morian female. The Morian female skeleton. Hello, baby. So here what we do, we go on the root, we do add socket, we call it spell spawn. Can I copy it just to avoid messing up? I can copy it from the clan. Is called like this. So I call it spell spawn, and by the way I also just add a preview asset, so we are defensive wind, and you see this is what exactly how it was showing up, because this was the default root. So we put it in the middle, in the belly, we put it in the middle. I think this is not the real middle because it's touching the feet but not too much. Yeah, just something like that is better. And the other problem is that is rotation, right? So we need to rotate it 90 degrees up. Okay. So now it shows okay. Now the problem is the scale. Let me check if this character is scaled somehow. Then I have to check with yeah, this character is scaled. So let's fucking scale all the characters. But it's okay. As long as it looks visually okay, we are fine, you know? We can just... So I think it's too high, this one. So I will do a 0.8. And 0.8 is definitely too short. So I will do a 0.9. And I will move a bit down the center. Yeah, so I think that's perfect. Right? So it's as big as the other ones. And it's going all around her. Right? Okay, good. So this one is done. We save it. Yeah, we will need to check out all the characters for this change. The server is still up. No, what's going on? Why you cannot? The server is still up or not? Oh. What? Is there a ghost editor somewhere? There are two windows. Is this one and this one? Well, what is going on? I don't know if there is still an editor running in the background somewhere which is messing up. They maybe didn't close properly. Because I should be able to close. I mean, I should be able to save without problems. What is going on here? Oh, there is this one as well. Yeah, there is definitely another editor. Now, I don't know which is which. If I do bring to front, I cannot. Win the bug game with no parameters. Crap. I don't know. One of these two is a fake one. Do I have a chance to understand the date where it started from? I think it's this one at the bottom. Let's try to end the task and see what happens. Right, I think it was in. It was in. Nice. Yeah, there was a kind of a stale editor still running in the background. I think it's in one of the many. By the way, for this guy, we did it a bit bigger, huh? He's standing on top of his head by a bit. But anyway, who cares? So probably one was fine. I don't know. It's okay. I mean, it's not perfect science. So we did it on her. Let's do it on this guy. Let's do it on this guy. And let's put it on root. Add socket. I will call it the same way. Spell spawn. We attach defensive wind. Oh my god, I attached the tree. Look at that. I attached the tree to him. Pretty nice tree, by the way. Okay. Attach and preview. Defensive wind. Yes. Move these up. Okay. Rotate. Okay. I think it's fine. In terms of sides, I think it's perfectly fine. So this one we leave it like this. check out, save, and go. Then Enki. Okay, I think I can do this off stream anyway. I don't think you need to look at me changing 12 characters the same way. And also I need to take some food and have dinner. But we did good stuff. We basically fixed, the way spells work, at least for center on caster and center on target. Then the next thing we will have to do, we will have to fix the projectile going from caster to target using these settings. So here in DT spells we have projectile. If I select summon missile, right? Projectile energy arrow, this one. This would be a projectile. If you want to see it, is like this. This is just an example, but this is what it is. And it looks like an arrow, by the way. Which is hitting the target, right? And this one will have to go from to, right? Now, I don't know if this one is really the right one, because this thing will have to travel. So you will see this wall thing traveling forward. So it doesn't mean that it is the start and it is the end, You know what you mean? You know what I mean? No. Okay. What I mean is, I think you know. What I mean is that if this is the projectile, right, is not that my target is here, sorry, my caster is here and my target is here, right? Maybe the caster is here, the target is down, whatever, is down here, and this projectile will actually travel. So we start from here and we'll go whoop, up to there while doing the animation, right? While doing the animation. But anyway, this is the thing that we still need to do. We have it pretty much set up, so I think we should not be too hard to complete. Yeah, should not be too hard to complete. Okay, with this said, I think I will close the stream. I don't know if I will stream tomorrow. Maybe I will stream in the afternoon, and then I will just go around a bit for New Year's Eve and meet some people and such. I'm not a big fan of New Year's Eve, but I will probably do something with some people, and then I will stream maybe the next day. But maybe in the afternoon I can. So thanks for watching, and just as a reminder, if you want to support the game, myself, Planeshift, you can go to patreon.com/planeshift, right? And in this page you can find 3 tiers to support us. If you have a suggestion, you want another tier, let me know. I can add another tier. For now I just have 3 tiers. I have like the most accessible of $3, where you get access to our Discord channels with a specific tag, and there is a support channel in Discord. You can see some stuff, and you also have access to some of these posts. The majority of these posts are open to the citizen tier, and then there is a higher tier of 10 per month where I do some additional videos, where like I did one here for the developments updates November and December, where I kind of summarize all the progress. So it's a bit of a handy way to know where we are. And then there is a crazy one of 50 that I just added, and is basically giving you all the previous benefits plus the access to our internal developer channel. Internal developer channel is where we do discussions. If you want to know what we are discussing, I don't know, I can give you a screenshot of it, just a quick one, just so that you get a feeling of what is inside sometimes. But let me see if I can screenshot it without leaking too much stuff. Let me do this 1 second. Yeah, so here I was discussing with Chrome. Here I was discussing. This is, for example, is a screenshot of the the internal channel where I was discussing with Zwei about something. We were discussing about sockets of the spells, which is a bit of what we did today. So you get a bit of a preview of what we are doing. We were discussing about putting the origin at 0, or not, changing some of the shapes and such. Okay, so that channel in theory should be available only for developers, so it's only an internal channel. But if someone is so crazy to pay $50 per month, and so really wants to be part of the team and support us, and is a nice guy, then yeah, you will get into that. Yeah. So thank you. There is the link. I can post it so you have it. And thanks for watching. YouTube is still behind, so for YouTube people, I will write a message because the YouTube is really behind, like 1 hour. So thank you. Bye bye. So you'll probably hear me type.